Welcome to Motivational Monday. This is Fed Razak, senior trading strategist here at CMTrading, and today I'd like to discuss one person and you have another person that go through the same experience in life, yet this person does succeed and this person doesn't. But before we start, make sure to like, subscribe, and do share, especially if you find value in this presentation. Can't emphasize this enough. I want to say thank you for all of you who have shared my previous videos and help our channel grow. We appreciate it. Okay, so let's just jump straight into it. All right, so let's reference a movie first, and then we'll kind of backtrack to the original introduction to this presentation. Okay, so there's a movie called Remember the Titans. It stars Denzel Washington. Its background, it's actually where it's taking place is somewhere in the South. I don't remember exactly where it is. During the 1960s, when they desegregated schools. Up until that point, it was blacks in schools segregated from whites. And here they put together and they desegregated the school system, and kids had to know and learn how to acclimate with each other. And needless to say, if you're in the South, okay, unfortunately, the discrimination was very large in those days, and it took a little bit of time in order for these two groups to gel or to come together. And one of the things that was the challenge is forget the curriculum and the educational part that was desegregated, but also sports were desegregated. So here it is. And football, American football, is such a piece of US culture. It's almost like tangible how much it's so part of the culture in the United States. And so you had these two teams, these two players from two separate schools that now had to gel into one team. And it's actually quite fascinating how it does it. So Denzel Washington, who's the coach, takes them away from the school before the school year actually started and puts them in a summer-ish camp away from the actual facility of their school and kind of like puts them in neutral ground. And it's really fantastic. And he puts them through a grueling experience. And at one point, the top black player confronts the top white player, and he says to him, listen, I passed you the ball a couple of times. You were supposed to catch it, whatever the circumstances was, what you've been doing. And he says, well, you've been doing this and he's been doing that, and they spat a little bit. And finally, one of the players says to each other, attitude reflecting leadership. No leadership, bad attitude. Now, the leadership part we could put aside, but those of you who have attended some of my Motivational Mondays know that I'm very big into taking control, not being the victim. Because I've seen it time and time again. People go through adverse childhood experiences or adverse experiences just in life altogether, making money, losing money, having challenges, educational challenges, not having the opportunities that other people have to, yet they overcome, yes, they galvanize, yet they get out of their space where you would have thought they would never have achieved anything, and sure enough, they do. And that's really the essence here, is that one's attitude plays such a big role. And that really answers the question why you have one person who goes through one challenge and the same person or a similar person that goes through the same challenge, yet one succeeds and one doesn't. It's only about attitude. And I believe that if we change our attitude or have things happen, it doesn't mean that whatever adversity that we went through life doesn't exist. It just means how I'm going to respond to it and how I'm going to use it as a stepping stool. Okay, now I've been doing a lot of work towards parenting and, a lot of self-development in parenting with my children. And a lot of times, like there's a situation that happens with one of my kids where you'd say, oh my God, that's just horrible. And I say, no, it's an opportunity. Because at that point, you really have a chance to connect with the child because there has been this adversity. And many people don't look at it that way. And it's all about attitude. That's all it was. And you take a situation that's not necessarily good and you make it into much better or greater. And I believe that in everybody's life, whatever situation you're in, you could change it around. Yes, is it making lemonade out of lemon? Maybe something like that. Okay, but I know for sure challenges are what makes life interesting, and overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. And that's just not a mantra, but it's really, if you integrate that into your life, you could then pull yourself out. Whatever it is, whatever your goals are, you have to write them down and you have to stick to them over time. And it's not going to be something that happens in a month. It's not something that happens in 2 months. It's something that you keep on working at. And the closer you get, the more you see that you're progressing, the more inertia you'll get to move it even faster. And before you know it, you'll get there yourself. Thank you for joining us for this Motivational Mondays. We'll see you here next week.